no! I forgot to press the record button! I've been talking to myself for the last couple of minutes. So, I guess I'll do that again. Here we go. Intro titles. Spin, 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 spin. Let's not have those. Let's move on. I was going so well. I was doing so well. Right. Take two. It's going to be one of those sessions where I'm just laughing. I should get Dave to do a version of the intro that just does intro record scratch straight in. Okay, and we'll start again. Right, what are we doing then? That's what I was asking myself. So we are doing a disassembler for RISC OS. Thank you very much to Talia, by the way, for telling me that I'd not started yet. I could have been going for hours. Right, I'm going to start. Right, we're doing a debugger for RISC OS. And the debugger is mostly complete on the disassembly side. And we're in the process of doing some tests for it. I got a lot of tests working last time, and we're at the process of doing some more tests. So if you have a look up here, this is the test descriptions we have. We have test groups, test name, the thing to run, which is basically run the debugger tool with, which is a test program that I've written with an argument D that tells it to do a disassembly. And then it goes and does it. And then we repeat with F, which is do the floating point instructions. And then we do T for problem instructions. And then there's some more that we'll look at in a moment. So I had been in the process of trying to work out where I actually was and what tests were actually being run. So I'm going to be just giggling at this now. Hi, Talia. Thank you very much for the reminder. I feel so dumb. So a professional would just roll on and let it slide and to just be like, oh yeah, that's fine. Of course, professional wouldn't actually have forgotten to press record or go live as it is. What they really should be is a big thing that says on air. That would be a really cool idea. I wonder if there's a plugin for OBS that does that. Have it right in the middle of my screen so I'd know that I was live or not. Anyway, yes. So these are the things. Is that text a little small? It feels a little small. Let me just bump the size up. So those tests, those descriptions say what we are trying to do, and they describe the tests and give us expectations that come out of them. And we can see the expectations. It's doing its resize at the minute. In expect, there we go, it's done it. Since it's done it, I'll go and jump there. So disassemble, it hasn't quite done it. Expect debugger FPA. So this is the FPA instructions that we've got. There we go. It's just caught up to me. So that's regular disassembly. I've selected the wrong one. Ooh, typing's being a bit slow. So yeah, this is the disassembly here that we're expecting to get. And if you'd noticed, FBA actual, this is what we're actually getting. If I just toggle between them, you can see there's a very slight difference in that the case of the registers is lowercase in here, which is inconsistent with the expectations. And actually, if we have a look at the disassemble output, all of the registers here are in lowercase. So I think my actuals are more consistent. I wonder what the standard debugger does. That's a quite interesting question. I wonder what it does. Right, I'm going to make them consistent, then I'll worry about that. Alan, I am not going through the third time. I've already screwed up enough here. Just need to slap people. Need a way to slap people over the internet. That is when humanity's downfall will be. Right, let's not advocate violence on the channel, particularly not from me. Okay, so yes, it looks like these are pretty similar. So what I can do is if I just say I'm going to accept those lowercase ones as being okay, we'll do that. So we'll go move the expectation for debugger FPA actual to be the live one. That's why disassemble FPA, there we go. And I can do a diff on it and we can actually see it. Now that's okay, but it's a little bit more difficult to see. If I can turn on the context diff, that's a little better, yeah. So we can see a little bit more easily what's gone on there. Yeah, those look okay. All looking fine. It's just the case that's different, and that looks good. That is a good result. So I'm going to say that's fine. So now what I want to do is have a look at one of the others. So we just have a look in the other files that we've got down here. Oh, this one here, sorry. Revealing sidebar. So we've got disassemble, so disassemble FPA. Disassemble thumb was the other one that was interesting. So thumb is here. This is thumb actual, and this is thumb. Yeah, I'm going to have to look at those in a proper diff, aren't I? So let's do a compare of them. So expect debugger disassemble thumb actual against expect debugger y thumb, that one. Okay, and where's my window gone? Here it is. It's over here. Oh, those don't look like. Oh, I picked the wrong file. That's why. This is SWI disassemble thumb, not disassemble arc thumb. Oh, there's no underscore in it. This is why you have to read what you're writing. Yes. Yeah. So what we got as differences here. So this is the ones that we are outputting. The actual is what we've output, and this is the expectation file. Interestingly, this one here is showing us an address of some code. This looks wrong. This is actually showing us a hash before it, and that's in Pyromaniac. So I think that is a bug in RISC OS Pyromaniac, which is interesting because usually I fix RISC OS Pyromaniac bugs. This one here is a constant, and yeah, they look okay. They're not too different. It's just that one's in hex and one's not. That is the same number though, isn't it? I should really check. Let's have a check. Hex of 176 is BO. That's okay. We should probably have a comment on that to say what the number is. And then we've got these ones down here that are slightly different. And that's because we're outputting it in the sort of generalized form, and this is the specifically thumb form. I think, he says, I think that is okay. I think I'm going to just say, yeah, that's fine. I'm a little bit, that, it would be nice if that one came out with a comment, and the other one on both of them. It's come out here as being 42, a star, and that's a backtick. That's a star as well. Again, that's all the differences. Here we've got a difference in the register set, so we've reduced it down, and on this one it's expanded out. That I'm going to go and fix that at some point in RISC OS Pyromaniac and make it more sensible. This one here has come out as undefined instruction. Now that's frustrating because ITE is if then else instruction, and so that's a little bit frustrating. Let's put a bug in for it. ITE instructions in Thumb are not being decoded. Okay, there's a new bug. This is it's not a feature request. Oh, we haven't got a template for a bug. I wonder if I can create one for a bug. That'd be nice. Problem statement. The ITE instruction used in the SWI disassemble thumb test is not decoded. It comes out as undefined instruction, which it definitely isn't undefined. As undefined instruction. Expected behavior. Should say ITE-LO apparently. I forget exactly how the if-then-else instructions work, but I'm pretty sure that LO means that the next instruction is a execute if lower, and the other one is an execute if not lower immediately after that. I think that's how it works. Yeah, but anyway. And then expected behavior, reproduction case, run the SWI disassemble test. Last instruction is wrong. This has been marked acceptable for now. Okay, there we go. We now have a bug. And we should mark it as such. Okay, so where do we go? There's labels, bug. There we are. Okay. Oh, and it apparently moves the bugs to the top. I think it does these in alphabetical order. But anyway, so other than that, this looks fine. I'm going to accept it, which is quite nice. Another one that I can move. So again, move thumb, and again over here this is thumb as well. Thumb actual, please. There we go. No, not that one. The other one. That one. Let's do a quick diff on that and just check that's the floating point ones, and that's these ones. Yeah, that's all good. All right. So we're feeling good about that. Let's just mark those, commit them. Let's check there's nothing else pending. That's all. Accept. We change the golden the expectations, I call them, don't I? For SWI disassemble and one. The FPA instructions differ only in case that's acceptable. Yeah. The thumb is mostly correct, but the ITE instruction is wrong. This is recorded in bug number 25. It's like they're called issues on GitHub, aren't they? Issue number 25. Okay, let's push that. And then we'll try and run some of these tests to actually see what we are getting out of this, because I think we can probably see what's going on here. So if I jump back to where the tests were, I can't remember how to run them, you see. It said make test, didn't it? Test.port. No. Oh, nothing in my history. That's curious. Very curious. Anyway, let's see what we can do about that. let us do run on build service. That's what we do, isn't it? Oh, that's me runs individual ones. Test.pl, not tests. Don't know. Okay, cat make file. Let's have a see what we've got in here. So in order to run these, we run test.pl, show command, show diff, run on build service. Oh, I can actually do mine as test. Shows how much I paid attention last week. I should have rewatched the video. I don't know what I was doing. Also is current direct. I want to actually say test. Yeah, use the current directory, and the test is whatever the one that I was looking at was. It's the second one. This file here. Test debugger swise. .txt. They're all marked as skipped. Why are they all marked as skipped? These aren't marked as skipped. Why are they skipping it? In fact, why is it running the wrong? Oh, hang on, is test actually the thing that we're meant to match? It's the thing we're meant to match, isn't it? Debugger. It's the thing we're meant to match, that's why. What? That's a lot different to what I was just seeing. Oh, this is the regular ARM test, not the FPA ones. There's a lot of differences here. What are the differences? Oh, this is a /R. Hang on, what? I fixed this, didn't I? There was something about taking input from null. Wasn't there? Didn't I do something about it? I swear I did something about that. Tests make file. Taking input from null, dev null. Run on build service. Tidy output was meant to take away, if there is a TTY, which there isn't in this instance, replace /R with empty. But /R still there. Oh, hang on. Isn't this RISC OS shell? We need to run it under there. That looks like it's not working in the slightest. Oh, I wish I remembered things from last week. I'm a bit thrown here because I'm sure I had this working. Sure. Tidy output is this thing here, and it's going to replace any /Rs with nothing. And so but we're still getting /r's out. Do I need to use a double slash on that? Is that what's wrong? But then it was working. Yeah, double slash apparently, which probably means I need to do it on these ones as well. Okay. So we're getting some output out of these that tells us what the differences are, and it's looking like some of these are actually quite normal. If they are, then we'll accept these as well. So that's all this. So most of these are going to be the reversed constants, which I'm just going to go, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we've got some nice bits there. That's not right. Move negated is not minus, that's not -1. So that got confused. This one's okay though, this is correct. This is correct, and this is correct. And that's correct too. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so one of them, it was putting out a negative number in the RISC OS Pyromaniac version, and we're putting out as a positive number. I think that's actually probably fine because they're the same sort of thing. Also, that big number probably means nothing to anybody anyway. And that one, yeah, again, same big number. 68. Strange shifting thing there. It's quite amusing. They all look fine. This one is decoded that it's described this as a table dispatch. That's not relevant to us. We could have that, but there's no need to. I've got these lowercase LSLRs on this for LDR. I thought I had fixed those, but I think we can address them. Lower higher, yeah, that's a slight difference in how it's representing them. We can potentially do something about that, but I'm going to leave it. Now these are interesting. So APSR is CPSR, all of those. That is APSR. And that SPSR is that. So those mean the same thing. And these, they've got them around a different way. We're using CF and it's using FC. I would actually use CF. I think that makes more sense. It looks like, I don't know why it's doing this. It's got it back to front from what I'm expecting it. So I think that the ones we're producing here are actually pretty decent, with the exception of APSR and SPSR for those two. We could fix those. Don't need to, but we could. Okay, so the constant values here, we're not decoding them. And I think that's okay. Maybe in the future we'll put that in, but right now I think it's not a problem. Again, all the flags are coming out okay. First one, CPSR F into R1. Yeah, so that's actually called MPSR NZCVQ because those actual flags that are being changed, whereas it's strictly the CBSR, the flags bits. So those do mean the same thing. I'm going to leave it as that. I don't mind too much. Okay, these ones. Yeah. I prefer having the spaces in there, but I'm not going to complain about it too much. We could actually fix the disassembler to do that if we wanted. And then this side, again, that's looking okay to me. I think those are okay. I mean, there's a slight difference here in that we've got the different ordering of things. So we've got STM any IA. So putting the condition in the middle was originally how you used to present things. And we don't fix it up on all of the instructions. Maybe we should, but for now I think I'll leave that alone. I'll accept that. Pop, pop, push. Yeah, and these are SPs. Increment before, decrement after. Decrement before, increment after, increment before, decrement after. Yep, they all look okay. Low values looking good. And ISB, that's an instruction barrier, isn't it? I think it's ISB is an instruction barrier, I'm not sure. So most of this looks okay, with the exception of the LSRs. Let's put in a bug on that. So LSL / shifts like LSL, not capitalize in LDR STR instructions. Okay. I should create a bug report thing for this. Problem statement. LSL in LDR. There we go. Is not capitalized like in mobs. DMA sized to results. Run the tests for slide disassemble D. There we go. And whilst I remember, let's do a label as a bug. And I have to do it again. All right, there we go. There's that. And the other one that I saw, what was that? There was a thing up here. I'd be better at doing these straight away when I find them, wouldn't I? Oh yeah, this thing here. NVN reports constant of -1 unnecessarily. In there is a comment saying that the value is -1. No, it's not. What's this? Expected result. Doesn't have any comments. Production steps in slide disassemble. Yeses. D. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put the bugs tag on that. Come on, pop it up. It's a bug. Thank you very much. All right, so that's good otherwise, so I can accept that one. Move, expect. I'll get another one that's passing. Some bits different there. These are lengths that are different, so not going to worry about that too much. Oh, edge there. That appears to come out with a constant value when it's not actually a constant. ADR includes a constant comment. Oh, this is tedious now. Problem statement. Take off the heading on that, don't need that, just need that bit. About the value. As there is no meaning to it. So that's in the 64-bit stuff. Expected result, no comment, or a comment about no comment or a comment about the destination. Reproduction steps. Run the debugger disassemble arc on 64 test. Okay. Glitch. That's not the word there. Oh, and label it this time bug. All right, good. Any more that I care about? Invalid length, I'll come back and look at those. Those look like they're more significant. That one looks right, because that's said it's returning 58 characters and it's 1 character shorter. So that looks spot on correct to me. And then we're back to these ones. So, yeah, I've renamed one of them. Disassemble arc arm looks correct as well. So let's do that one as well. On there. Is that right? Yep, that's right. Fish will highlight the file names when you actually got them correct. So if that file exists, it puts an underline on it, so you know you've got the right file name, or a file that really does exist. So if I just do the diff now and see what I'm actually committing. So I disassemble. Yeah, that's the one that's broken, but we can fix that. We'll have a look at those in a moment. That's all good, all good, all good. These are the ones we saw. Ones we saw. Yeah, and that's the ARM one. And then a small change to the build on build service. Okay. Let's save that. Commit. The ARM and some. Some of these quotations are good now. There are a couple of bugs that have been raised. Issue number 28 for MVN and a comment of -1 wrong, or and ADR including a constant. And issue 29. That's it. Okay, good. Right. Having done that, I'm going to push that. Having done that, I'm going to very quickly just have a look at templates, because this is annoying me. So, feature request, here we go. So if I duplicate this as a bug report, name bug report, something that's not right about the project. What does title mean? Label bug. I don't like that. In fact, I don't even like how that's done previously. I'll change that one in the future. But anyway, so problem statement. Explain what you think is wrong. Expected result. Explain what you expect to see. To see, that's fine. And then what was the other one? Reproduction steps. Explain how to reproduce or which test the failure is in. How big's that? That's 67 characters, that's still fine. All right, so do that. And then I have to commit these to master, the main branch, otherwise they won't be picked up. And what was it called? Bug report. There we are, bug report. Commit. Add a bug report template. Push that, and now we do things here. Something fun. Maybe it takes a moment to get picked up. Oh. Reload the page. Let's just see if it's not live for some reason. Something fun. Yeah, return. Bug report! Woohoo! How cool is that? It's pretty neat that. And if you preview it, it comes out without the things in. Awesome! Alright, so there we go. And back to where we were. Test. Add test code, that's what we want. Right. So now we want to actually start looking at these. Let's have a look first at this shifts like LSL are not capitalized, because this looks like it's probably an easy one for us to do. I'm saying that, it might not be very easy, but we'll have a look. Right, so let's go into here and have a see what it'll be in Rodis, I expect, because we'll have some support in here for the LSLs. Yeah, there it is. I'll move that down. Come on, can you make this just a bit bigger, please? Oh, come on. What's going on here? There. Ha! Defeated. Thank you. So that's for the instructions LSL. And here we go. This is where we start looking at the more of these ones, yeah. Actually, that's not doing the capitalization there. That is the capitalization. Yes, it's toggling the characters to be uppercase, isn't it? I wonder if I should just move that into a function, because all of this stuff here that does RRX also wants to be capitalized as well. But RRX also on there would be. I think actually we just want to apply this to. I think I want to apply this to all the instructions, so even LDR and STR. Oops. LDR, LDR, and STR. But the constant numbers here, I don't think I want to put them on if we've got a PC relative operation. If it's a PC relative operation, I don't want to do that. Said poo. If I have a look in DARM, where's DARM? Is DARM, and have a look in its external interface. It has, yeah, that's the DARM external interface. It has a description here that says what the different instructions are: encoding types, conditions. First operand is always called Rn, so that's the one we want to have a look at. So if Rn is PC, we don't do it. So yeah, because they're negated. And these ones, if mnemonic match, so that's because we know it's always going to be D, and we know the other one's always going to be an R. If it's one of those two, and what was it? Rn, did it say? Rn? Rn, yes, Rn with a PC relative operation. No comment about if there's a comment then. No comment about immediates. But there isn't a comment about immediates. Only this one does it. Oh, it's this bit here I should be fixing. Okay, I fixed it in the wrong place. Or I'm fixing it up in the wrong place. Let's move this. So this is here. if no comment about the offset. Any other instruction should do that. Okay. Now, have a look at that part of it. So this is the LDR STR part, which was a problem here, the LSR. So it's this file. Oh, come on, where are you? I want the output. This bit here, yeah. Oh, debugger bin D. Okay, let's just run that. Should be easy enough. Let's run all of them. Is that the best way of doing it? I want to run it. If I can run it locally, it's a lot more efficient. pyrodev load module debugger and then run testcode /bin/ disassembler. Oh, debugger, isn't it? Test bin. It's just in bin. Okay, debugger D. Oh, load the shared C library as well. Okay, I don't think that works, because if I have a look in here, I can see these LSLs are still coming out. And the reason it hasn't worked is because I've just changed the code and I've not compiled it. cp./debugger to here. Oh, forgot to get the file name. File, make file module. Make file FE1, not FE5. What's FE5? I don't know what FE5 is. Right, that built. So now we can run the test again, which is this one. I think that looks okay. You scroll up. These are the TSTs that are looking okay. LDR is now got capitalized in those, capitalized here as well, capitalized on the ads, so I haven't broken that. All of these are looking good still. Yeah, that looks good to me. Let's run the test. Huh. Maybe that's how I should be running it. Except I've forgotten what the test was called. It's a good day when you're so confused that you can't remember what you were doing. Here we go, debugger disassemble, there we go. Debugger disassemble. So I'll catch a whole bunch of them, but that's okay. Oh. Right, scroll up here and have a look at the differences. Just that section, which is what we wanted. Oh, and we've got a slight side effect that this constant's coming out now. That's nice. because it's going into the same section of the code. That's quite cool. Still got that one broken, but we'll have a fix for that in a minute. All right, cool. And these bits, yeah, we know these are a little bit odd. Well, look at those in a moment. That one, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think it's just a difference in the error output. Okay, so what we fix now is just that first one, just the first test, so I can do the move of that. Not that one, not that one, not that one. I think it's that one. Yep, that's the one. Fix for shifts on LDR/STR not being capitalized. The LDR/STR instructions are now treated the same as the arithmetic instructions, so should have their shifts capitalized. As a side effect, we also get the constant values expanded. Closes number 27. And if I've written that right, when that's merged, this should go and close. Actually, does it do it in there, or does it only do it in the PRs? Not sure. Yeah. Well, anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this is moved over, because that one I've worked on. And next we'll go on to this one. So MVN reports a constant of -1 unnecessarily. Oh, I clicked on the wrong one because it reordered it. It's not unnecessarily, it's incorrectly, isn't it? Right, so let's have a look at that. That'll be in the same area. And I think the problem with this is that it's actually using, it spotted the fact that it's got a number on it, but it's not actually an immediate. Well, it is an immediate, but it's not the one it thinks it is. So if I go back to the constants here, can I find out are invalid? Excuse me. In fact, I imagine that this immediate is -1 because it's invalid. Yeah, I imagine that's what it's meaning. Which means that I can probably just go d.im is not equal to -1. Is that actually correct? Might actually have to look at some of the code. .im, ooh, that's not what I wanted. Find.im equals. Maybe in here then. .im, not to im. Oh, hang on. To I. That, if I go back to here, is I. Whether an immediate has been set. There we go. I can check whether that's... Oh, except this it has got an immediate set, hasn't it? It's just not an immediate. I thought it was. What was the failing instruction again? I've forgotten already. Hang on, I've got it here. I've got it here in this. Shift type and shift, register shift information. So shift type is not S invalid. Oh, I could have done it with these. Actually, we could quickly detect whether we need to even do that by looking at shift type. That would be quite nice because it would be more efficient that way rather than doing string searches. I might do that. I may do that. I'm not sure what these options are, I'm afraid. I may have to go and have a look at them and see how it works. Right, so yes, that was... Yeah, so if the shift type... Is it called shift type, isn't it? Yeah, it's called shift type. Is S invalid? Yep, yep. Let me try and work on one problem at a time. Immediate constant is present. Oh, I've forgotten how I'm going to do this. So. Of course, the immediate value will be invalid because it's not an immediate value. Yes, that's correct. So d.I is S set. Is it B set or S set? I can't remember. B set. B set. Yeah, there we go. Unset, set, and invalid. Fair enough. I think that should still do the right thing. Run it again. That's not going to work because I didn't build it. Stop, stop, magic porridge pot. Thank you. Okay, build it, that's better. And then we can run the test. Right. And the one that was failing was the MVN. It's still telling me a -1. That's odd. I did save that, didn't I? D to I is set. This is trapping two different types of things. Actually, what we can do here is if the instruction is set, I mean, if it's set, we do that one. Otherwise, else if shift type is not equal to, is it S invalid? I think that's right. I think we can probably make that more efficient in the future, but right now I think that's actually, and then we can get rid of that because that's already done up there. And then this all becomes a bit simpler. And we're not doing it all the time, which is better. I mean, really, I should probably look for an ROR, but that can be something that can be worked out later. Build it and copy, and then run it. Still giving me a -1 there. I'm confused. That's very surprising to me. Where's the shifts gone? Oh, shifts in here as well. There we go, shifts. Yes, the RX, that's still working. We know it's going to be set at that point, don't we? Because we've gone into this bit of code. A little bit of debug there, see what's going on. Build it and copy, and then run it. Ooh, pretty. Okay, so where's the MVN one? Here it is. Oh, it didn't print it, so it doesn't think that it's a... Okay, so this code is actually more efficient and better, but that's not the code path it's going through to get that comment. Because it's this code path here. It's just here. So be set. So we can do a fast reject on a constant value, then do the comparison for the instructions, then do the comparison for a hash, which should always be there anyway. All right, let's build that and run it. I think that should be the one that should fix it this time. Right, scroll back, and let's see, where's my MVN? There we are, it's gone now. Thank you. Right, diff. Yeah, that looks okay to me. And it's much more sensible for me to use these decoded values out of DARM rather than to just try and do string comparisons. Really, I should probably be doing that for most of these checks rather than checking for the strings. But I guess I was a bit lazier when I was doing this. I know I was a bit lazy. It's fine though. Right, let's run these tests and just have a quick check that we're only changing the things we think we're changing. We might actually have affected some of these memory A and other things as well, but I'll worry about that later. How are we going? So here we go. This is the changes for this one, and we've got, yeah, just this comment vanishing. FPA instructions good. Thumb instructions good. Disassemble arc arm. We haven't looked at this one properly, but it's good. Arm plus extra. Oh, yeah, this is where we've given more data than we expected. This is less data than expected, and this is, yeah, this is the constant for the ADR one that we'll have a fix for next. All right, looks good to me. So status move. Which one is it? Which one was the one that we just did? It's this one, isn't it? This bit here. Fix for MVN reporting an incorrect constant of -1. The MVN value was reporting immediate constant of -1 when it should have done no comments, left no comments. This was due to misunderstanding the immediate constant value as being present. It was not. Oh, I've got a mark on my glasses. Oh, I'll have to clean it in a minute. Closes issue number 28. Again, don't know if that's going to actually do it when I've done it, but it's fine. Right, let's not push those yet. Let us move the next one over. So the next one is addr includes a constant comment. So that one is a very similar issue. It's a very strange one, that. Oh, because this is in the this is 64-bit. It's possible I should put a thing of which architecture are you disassembling, because it's kind of important. So this is the 64-bit disassembly. So disassemble armadillo. Yeah, so armadillo operation immediate. Well, it does have an immediate value, but we've already fixed it up, or it will be fixed up. Has been fixed up. Yeah, so I wonder if... So we'll have similar information in armadillo, won't we? So h/armadillo. Oh, is it types? I thought there was a... I thought there was another header file I had to use. Oh, it's called adefs. Yeah, because that's a helpful name. Right. Operand type. Yep. If it is operand immediate, then one of these is valid. AD_im. Oh, so should be checking what the im type is there. Am I checking that? I don't remember checking that. Oh, I am. I am checking those. That's those ones there. Yeah, it's all those ones that I can handle, but it hasn't made the distinction between this being an address. So I'm just going to have to work out whether it is an address. Instruction, the group of instructions. Ah, that's interesting. Unique instruction ID, so I can get out the instruction ID. Let's have a see if we've got a group of instructions. Lots of register definitions, instruction definitions. Oh my gosh. Yeah, explicit instructions, there's a lot of them. So ADR and ADRP, I should probably be able to comment on those. I think that'll be fair enough. Just have a quick look at group. So AD_G_. Yeah, so it's not. That's not going to differentiate it enough. I do need to understand that it's one of those two. AD instra. What field's it in? It's in instra ID. So if we go back over here, and we want to do a conditional now, if not operand, no, if AD to oh, what have you forgotten? Instra ID. Is not equal to intra and AD to instra ID is not equal to oops, P do that. So build that. And then I should be able to run the test of that one. And how do I test that one? Oh, I don't know. Well, I'm just going to have to scroll back and have a look and find it. It's this one here. It's that sequence there. That sequence. So that code means architecture. Sorry, use SWI disassemble architecture. Use architecture 1, and then pass in this word or this set of bytes. Sorry, as the bytes we are trying to decode, and the result is, yeah, that looks right. It's no longer putting the comment on it. So that looks good, and we can now do disassemble arc. I'll look at those ones in a minute. I'm not sure if they're bugs or not at the moment. Just need to check what they actually mean. Right, so there, the difference is just that the constant is not padded out. I think that's actually fine. And the length, let's check that, is column 26. 26 is 16 plus 10, so that would be 1A. Oh, 18, it says what? 26. Oh, we've got an indent, sorry, get rid of the indent. 18 characters, yes, 18 characters there. Good, that's correct then, I can be happy with that. Cool. Yeah, so let's go and move that one as well. That is expect, which are arc something. That was ARM64, wasn't it? Actual arc ARM64. Do a diff to check we've done everything right. Yep, those two instructions. And that there. Commit as A. Fix for ADR in ARC64. Reporting comments on immediates. The ADR instruction was reporting the immediate value as a number in the comment. That's not useful. We now omit that. Done. Okay, that's that one finished as well. IT instructions in thumb are not being decoded. That's going to take me a little bit more to do, because it means actually tweaking it inside the armadillo code. So I'm going to leave that one for now, and I'm going to have a look at one of the other ones. So what have we got here? So this one here, the thumb instruction one, that looks correct actually. I'm looking at that and going, yeah, those are the same thing. Yeah, we don't include a comment on the end of it, but I don't think we need to. I'm going to say that one's good. That's a nice fix. That's not fixed. It's valid. So that is thumb actual. There. Okay. That was good. What was the one before that? So that's that one there. That one there's done. This one here, ARM plus too few bytes. So it's here we're calling the debugger architecture disassembly. We're passing in architecture 0, which is ARM, and then we're passing in 4 bytes. Sorry, 2 bytes. The value 22 and then 03. Input size of 2, and we say no, I can't do that. Insufficient buffer data, need 4 bytes. That's what it should be deciding, but we're going no, I can't do this. So somewhere in the code here we're not disassembling this right. So reproduce it locally, not in the test code so we can actually see it. This one here. Yeah. Have I called the wrong thing? I've called the wrong thing, haven't I? No, I haven't. Bin debugger A02203 0. Oh, I passed in the command line as well. Right, so there we go. It is not a buffer overflow. It's a you didn't pass enough data. Not enough input data. And we want to differentiate between those things. So I need to have a look at how this actually fits together because I'm not sure how we do this. So disassemble arc. Oh, so yeah, what we're doing here is we're returning, this is, if the data length supplied is less than the word size, they didn't supply enough data. So we'll actually report to them, not enough input data. There we go. And then we'll have to create an error for that. Yeah, we'll actually create a new error for that one. Oh, I'd already put R in there. Debugger arc was not supplied enough data to decode instructions. There we go. So that's different than a buffer overflow, and I think that's better. And this time round, they didn't supply enough output buffer. Okay, and that's all right then. I think that's okay. So let's build that and then rerun the test. Build that. Where's my buildy line? That one. And then run the test. Oh, I probably should give it the full name. In fact, that's not the right name, is it? Because it should be debugger underscore disassemble arc. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's fair enough. Just test it again. Make sure it really is the right thing. Dun, dun, dun. Was not supplied enough data to decode instructions. Better. Much better. Okay, so make test disassemble arc. This will now, well, we should now be able to see that this actually comes out as a different error message. Hopefully. And if this is working, I might try and fix one other one, and then, because I might be able to fix that one as well. Because that looks wrong. Input data too short for disassemble arc. Yep. So we're not producing that message there. We're producing this one here, but I think that's good enough. In the future, we could potentially provide more information about it. This is a much better message than the one that's being expected as well, although we're not including the architecture number. Yeah, so I can accept both of those, I think. Too few. Yeah, too few. That one, and then this one. Few. Oh, and the other one. I might as well do the arc one. Invalid is the one, isn't it? Arc invalid. Let's have a look at those changes. Not enough input data and some extra comments to see what we're doing. New error message. So that's actually using 80E, which is, we just have to notify people that we've got new error codes. That's the one that we did for the thumb. Yeah, this is all looking good. Invalid is coming out okay. Right. Yeah, that looks right. Disassemble. Now report better error messages when the data is too short. Thumb output now looks correct. So has accepted. Invalid architecture. There we go. Yes, done. All right. And now I think we're down to just the last few of these. Maybe just one error failing now. If that's the case, I think we're good. Let's just have a see where we're up to. Oh, this one's going to fail, isn't it? It comes out with something odd about invalid length. Yeah, invalid length. That's odd. Is that the only one that's failing? I hope so. Right, yeah, we're looking good here. So, I just need to understand what invalid length means here, because I don't quite understand how that's getting to that. So we call into here, we pass data len. Actually, we should probably trim that. I wonder if it's because it goes into... Yeah, we probably go into the disassembly code in Rodis. An invalid length is returned here. Yeah, that's what I do there. If memory for ARM32 is... I should really change it to just that, because there's no point. That's not correct. We're casting it. We need to actually ensure that it is in an int32. Yeah, in fact, the fix me is telling me this. If you int32 0 word equals that. Else word equals data bracket naught or not 4, no, 8. 16, 24, 2, 3. There we go. So that should now get us a valid value, whether it's aligned or not, which is good. And we only report an error if it's less than 4. If it's more than 4, then that's fine. But we'll always decode just 4 bytes. It would be nice if we actually returned how many bytes we did decode. Improved API for the future, I feel. Right, and we need to do the same for the thumb one as well, because it looks like this has got the same problem. If it's less than 2 bytes, then we can use 16 there. And then this one, we can lose that. Use that, and then make this one just do word. It's actually a half word, but it's fine. And then we've got the 64-bit version, which is exactly the same. In fact, actually exactly the same as the ARM32 version. Word there. And I can now remove these comments about it not being aligned. Build it. Or not. Legal in the context of L value. That almost certainly means I've missed something. 602. Let's have a look at this. 602. Hang on, what? Oh, yeah. That was just garbage. I want to cast data to be yeah, that's right. Then that. Oh no, not with brackets. Right. That just wants to be 16 instead, and 1. And the same goes for this one. It's possible that the GCC may complain about this, so I'm going to have to run it through the 64-bit as well. Although I should run it through the 64-bit build as well. What? 628 legal caster int. Oh, that's still sorry, that's still an int32 at that point. Sorry, that should, yeah, because it's still an address. This is where having an address and a instruction type would be helpful as well, because when I build this for 64-bit, I'm going to get slightly different error messages, I think. Warnings. Not too bad here. Yeah, caster pointer to ensure a different size. That's fine for these implementations because we're only using 32 bits of the address space. With that, however, we should now be able to do the tests and see that that test now passes. And if it does, it'll be break time. What's that do? Huh. I've just noticed that in the corner of the chat window, Language Tool, which is one of the plugins that I use for checking my grammar, is trying to check the grammar of the text input that I use as well. Okay, what we got then? This one here, overlong string, and it's telling us that we have done this and that it's come out. This is good. It's no longer giving us an error. And it, as I say, it's 1 character shorter. Passing. Move this expectation to be actual. Actual to be expectation. Right. Fix for overlong input to disassemble arc, not decoding. The overlong input was reporting illegal length, which isn't helpful, as it would be nice to supply longer data sets and have it decode properly. This would matter more if the instructions were variable length, which of course they are in Thumb 2, because there's Thumb and Thumb 2, and oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of things there. Right, so that is now fixed. All of those tests should now be passing, which means that I'm going to run the tests for everything and see what happens. And we can have a look at the results of that. It'll take a few minutes for those to run because each of them is going to end up with a different set of output. But I will leave that running and I will go and grab myself some more drink and have a short break, about 10 minutes. And then we'll be back around about 10 minutes from now, 2:50. Yeah, about 2:50. On break, back to 50. See, tests are running pretty much passing okay at the moment, so I'm pretty happy with that. Right, see you in a mo. Hello again, and video. Hey, you see, this time I can do it. Right, so as you can see on the screen, we have had tests complete and one failed, just one. Not sure which one it is, so let us have a scroll back and have a look. Oh, it's these ones. What are these doing different? What? So previously it was doing that, and now it's doing a constant value. It's telling us it's a y, and this one. So this is actually telling us more information than it was expecting. That's nice. And again, I mean, the value that it's a letter N for minus 110, probably not very helpful. But yeah, that's minus that. I mean, that's not especially useful either, but it's not terrible. Okay, I'm going to just accept those. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to accept that. Status. Move, it's that one there. It's in here. I'm going to remove these two files because I don't think we're actually using those anymore. And they didn't fail anyway this time, so all good. Status. Small change, change to the expectations for star dump I affected by prior changes. The changes to LDR to add comments on immediate values. Now changed the expectations for star dump I. They're all fine. Cool. Just checking I'm really online and live. Yes, I am. On air. Yes, you can easily add an on-air banner to your stream by creating. Oh, I don't want to edit the stream. I just want to put it on my screen here. Ooh, intermission banners. I use those. I may have to have a look into this. Anyway, that's an independent problem. Let's go back to where I was. Excuse me. Right. Alan says I am live. This is good. Oh, excuse me. Right. Yeah, so all the tests are now passing. The bit that might be wrong now is, are we actually able to run them as part of our CI runs? And I think they should be. Let's have a see what we're doing. So when we run our CI runs here, we obtain the ARM library, obtain Armadillo, build the source, and then get the results back, give it a version number, then we upload, and then we release. So we're not actually running these tests at all. That itself is quite interesting. So we want to actually make sure these tests get run. And that this is actually working. So what's the best way we're going to do this? If I have a look at the test code. So when we run make tests, we do make tests here. There we go, it goes off and runs that. So we've got Perl being run, we've got run on build service, which is using this RISC OS build online client here. So let's have a quick look at how that works. Make file. Right, so it goes into this transform tool here, and then we call test.pl, and then that calls this function here, this file here. So we do the transformation, that just uses sed, no problem with that. And then we pass that on to run on build service, which then will call a bunch of commands. There's some descriptions here. Do we have a version of RISC OS build service locally? If we do, we'll use it. Otherwise, we use one that might be in our environment. Cool. And that's it. So, and we just do this in the test code directory. Yeah, we're just in the test code directory. So I think after having built it, oh, and we also need, yeah, we need to pull down the binary as well. So test the module. Right, so to test the module, we want to extract the tool from there. So we're going to unzip temp source archive.zip, and we only want to extract debugger.ffa. What do we actually build? Sorry, let's just see. Where's row build? There we go. Artifacts / debugger FFA. Okay, that's cool. Artifacts. Ooh, wow. I've got a lot of notes from Talia about how I do things. That's awesome. Extract from there that file. And then move it from artifacts debugger into test code. Into test code? Test code. Yeah, debugger. Should leave comments here, see what I'm doing. Extract the debugger we built. Put it in the tests directory so we can use it. And run the tests. CD test code make tests. Finally, if everything works, we'll go and do some stuff with that and generate an archive. Likelihood of this working, we'll see. When do we actually run this? Do we run this on all pushes? All pushes we run it on. So yeah. Okay, let's do this then. Oh no, I'm not committing to that. So git add a step to the GitHub CI run to run the tests. Tests will exercise different parts of the system and report what's gone wrong. Talia says, "Yay, feel the confidence." Yeah. I'm never confident, you know. Even when I know it's going to work, or think it's going to work, or it may work. I can't even get the blooming sentence out that makes it seem like I'm confident. What was gone wrong? Or that it went right. Okay. And if we push that, fingers crossed, we will get some tests that are going to show us that things are working. So if we go over to actions here, we should be able to see, yeah, here we go. Ooh, Many of these jobs have failed. That probably means it's not going to work. Let's have a see, shall we? I mean, yeah, it may fail completely. If it does, then at least it does. If we find out what's wrong. It may be just timing. Actually, maybe I can look at the error messages. Oh, there we go. That's the FBA test running. Oh, lovely. That's quite cool. If I have a look at the actual test results in here. Come on. I can probably find out what went wrong. Wrong number of parameters to pass memory params. Oh, that's weird, isn't it? Surely I would have seen that. Right, let's cd minus. Let's delete. Delete everything. CD minus, and then rebuild it. Rebuild it not for 64-bit. Rebuild it regular. Works fine. Built just fine. But here it's saying wrong number of parameters. Oh, that's dis file. That's dis file. So that's actually a difference. Oh, I probably changed things in the module and dis file relies on them. There we go. Oh, that's stupid. This is why we have CI. It tells us what's going wrong before we make a fool of ourselves and say everything's going to be fine. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I need to find where dis file is. So dis file here is on line 90. Sorry, I'm not pointing at the right thing. Line 90, it says wrong number of parameters. On the output here, it says line 2031. There is a bug in the compiler that I built on there. I'm in the process. I was hoping to get it done before this session, but there's a bug there that I've not fixed. It's a bug. I missed something off on one of the compiler switches. If you can tell the compiler to allow loads of unaligned addresses with the knowledge that the value that's loaded will be a rotated version of what you're actually expecting. And that was true on ARM2 and ARM3, but it isn't true on modern processors. So I had forgotten to turn that off. I'd broken it. When I introduced the 64-bit builds, I omitted that particular switch by accident. I think it's ZA1. I think it's either ZA1 or FA. Can't remember. RISC OS undocumented CC. Is that the one? RISC OS undocumented CC features. CC undoc. There we go. Minus ZA. Check whether loads can be aligned or unaligned or not. That's the switch that was meant to be there. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, that was not what we were looking at. Bum, 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 bum. Not that one. This one. Yeah, this one was what we're looking at. Wrong number of parameters means that yeah, the disk file's got the wrong thing. So let's have a look in here. Line 90. Okay, pass memory parameters. That's in CLI parser, isn't it? Pass memory params. Here we go. So it takes. Oh, we now got the end value on there. Just make that null. I believe that we can pass in null or null to ignore. There we go. That should be all it needs. Rebuild that. Okay, there's a fix for this file failing to build. The code that had been used for the parameter parsing has been changed in the module, but the disk file tool has not been updated. It didn't build. The end of the memory is now ignored. We call it. There we go. Push that, and back we go to the actions, because that will fail as well because it's failing the same way. And in theory, I'm hoping, look, confidence there, we should then get this one passing. Oh, it'll take a little while though. How long did it take to fail last time? 1 minute 49 seconds. And when it's successful, we get a 4 minute 14 run. It's going to be longer than that. Let's have a see. The other thing that I was trying to get sorted before this session today was adding in the accelerated builds on the build service so that it doesn't take multiples of minutes to build things, which would be nice. But I hit a number of problems last night and didn't get things fixed until about 2 AM. So it was a bit frustrating. Basically, I tried rebuilding all the commands for the library so I could put them into the build service, and found that some of my library wasn't working, the actual libraries that were being used by the commands, which was then caused me to go down a rabbit hole for that. But I got it to the end. I got there in the end. There's a bug in ammo. I think I may have mentioned this a few weeks back, that certain expansions don't work properly. I'm using a very old version of ammo because I haven't updated it. Obviously, because I don't have the source to what RISC OS Open use. I've got my own. And that causes it to break whilst doing things. It basically expands only part of the text, and it's due to an uninitialized variable. It's been not an uninitialized variable, a variable that's pointing to freed memory, and so it gets confused. And I only half fixed it last time, which was rather stupid. But yeah, having fixed that, then my library started building. I can't remember which one was failing. Image file render was failing because it has a whole bunch of really confusing statements in it. There's a lot of function calls inside the build system that I use, so it tends to get itself a bit confused if that doesn't pass properly. Anyway, the result of all that was that I finally had that building, and I could then get the commands up and running, but I didn't feel like going much further. So I have, however, deployed the shell server. So if you go to shell.riscos.online, once it boots, which will take it a moment, you'll see, yeah, there we go, 7.75 built on the 12th. That's now the latest version that's up and running. So yeah, you can see that, and it's all live, which is quite cool. Where was the one I was? Oh, Control Tab doesn't take me to the right place. Here we are. Right, still building. Still got stupid line numbers, but that will be fixed. Hopefully later today. Fingers crossed I'll be able to get that to the point where it's fixed. Oh, come on! 3 minutes, 40 seconds. Yeah, I was trying to talk over the top of it to spend time. What happens when I get to 7.99? Does it go to 8 or 7.100? I don't know, to be perfectly honest. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. The frustrating thing is that RISC OS Pyromaniac was only intended to be like this project. It was intended to be I'll just do this. Oh, you failed. Oh, that's irritating. Does that mean that... okay, so what is that file called? It's probably not. It's probably... Let's just kind of look here, because we can have a look at the built archive here. And that should have been downloaded. There we go. Look at that directory. Thank you very much. Hang on a second. Ooh, lots of things. Right. So here's the archive. Oh, okay. So it's put it into a directory called... No, that happens... Does that happen afterwards? I'm not sure. Let's go back to the CI file. What's the archive name? I think the actual output is called Debugger, isn't it? I think that's right. It's not in artifacts. If you do an unzip -v, is that verbose? Oh, -v is verbo, is version. V, verbose, yes. So unzip -v is it is verbose or just version if you don't give it a name. So that should work. Oh, I only want to extract that file. Let's try that. Log. No. Fix the failure to extract the built binary. There we go. Push. And watch it again for another 5 minutes. So you can see why I'm trying to get this to the point where it was running a bit faster. Yes, as I was saying, it was only meant to be a short project. And it was just like, oh yeah, what I'll do is I'll create a very simple thing so that I can test the programs that I'm building sort of work fine. I'll just make sure it can use oswrite-c, oswrite-s, oswrite-0, a few of the parsing commands, and a bit of other things. Doesn't take much. And like I managed to get that working to the point where I had BASIC up and running in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And most of that was trying to make it like sensible and understand modules and things. And it was just fake. It was not particularly wonderful. And then as time went on, it just sort of grew and grew. And well, as you saw, we're now on, what version number was it? Version number 75. I'm not sure you can see that. There we go. Version 75, which means there's been one release per month. So, no, not that window. That window. So 75 months worth of development, and we now have an operating system that runs in 32-bit and 64-bit and does a whole bunch of things and debugs stuff and all the rest of that, which is kind of impressive, I think. But it's way more than I ever intended. I'm not sure. I doubt anybody will care, but since I'm filling in time, since we're filling in time, because we're just waiting for this to build. Yeah, there you go, you're building, good. If you go to pyromaniac.riscos.online, you'll see that in the top right hand side, there is changelog. And that has all of the changes all the way back to, well, when I first started keeping the changelog, basically. Because versions before that didn't actually have very much in them. Is that right? I thought I might actually have created the change logs for those versions. Let's have a look. ls change logs releases. No, I haven't got anything before 0.11. Interesting. Maybe I should create something for that. Yeah, I mean I probably could, because I mean there's, if I do a log I can look for 0.10. Yeah, there you go. So there is information here, it's just not in a changelog entry. I could probably put it in there. WIMP report error now works in the console. I put WIMP report error in at version 10. 10 months in. 10 months in, that's a long time in actually, come to think of it. On the other hand, it's only like archaeological information at that point. You're really not gaining anything by knowing that sort of what went on back in its early days. Yeah, nobody would really care. And of course 75 months worth of work is you couldn't really care about any particular one part of it, I don't think. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that you think it's quite amazing. I'm repeatedly amazed by how much I've managed to get working and done, because I never expected it to be this much. I mean, you've seen it running games. We've got Great Escape running. We've got Doom running. Okay, it still failed. Now I'm getting slightly perturbed. A little bit put out. Maybe I should just extract the entire archive and have a look at it. Yeah, let's do that. Vexed. Vexed is definitely the word. I was trying to think of the lines from Princess Bride as Prince Humperdinck is getting more and more frustrated. If anything has happened to her, I will be really put out, or something like that. Did that not do anything? Did I forget? Bits of it. Oh, hang on. No, that's the one that just failed. Oh no! I've just made it. Oh, I committed that change to Pyromaniac instead. What did I just do? I did nothing apparently. Fine. Let me go back to here. And try that one again. And this will then fail. And then I will have to work it out again. Right. This time did it work? Yes, it did. Right. Once that's building, because I've now been talking over the past few sets of builds. Once that's building, I can do it again, or do a different type of building, take a different type of discussions. That looks untidy, doesn't it? I don't like that. I might have to tweak that. Not a big deal anyway. Right. What I was going to show was, so I'm sure people have seen, I've mentioned about this 64-bit status repository. This one has got lots of stuff in it. So what was being planned to be done? So you can put phase one. Phase one is where I'm at the moment. And this is the sort of thing that I want to get done. I want some parts of it to be functional, some parts to be just stub modules, other parts just internal, just to start progressing things and proving things. Talia's just reminded me of the correct line. If she is otherwise, I shall be very put out. That's it. Call myself a Princess Bride fan. Terrible. And these are the sorts of charts that I get out of it that show me how far I've got in that process. And as you can see, this is phase 1. The greyed out bits show how far I want to be, and the coloured ones say where we are. So there's a few bits that aren't done yet, but other bits have managed to get done. I mean, just this morning I managed to get Video Guard went and compiled and got itself all the way to being built, and Video Teletext built and seemed to be okay. I haven't tested it properly, but it's definitely working, which is quite cool. Yeah, so that's we got a lot of information on there about that. Then there's the next phase. The next phase to come along to is basically progressing things a bit more. I've tried to describe it in general terms, and each of these has got a little description of what they actually expect them to be, and then again the same chart. As you can see, I haven't progressed very far on phase 2, but some parts that I've done in phase 1 are actually like way ahead of where they should be. So we're actually going quite well here. Other bits are not so good. Lots of bits I haven't done, but then you wouldn't expect there to be much done on phase 2 whilst we're still actively working on phase 1. Lots of bits to be done. And then there's breakdowns by stack as well, so you can start looking at it from the perspective of where things are for the audio stack, compatibility, the core system functions, and as we're still in this area, you can see there's some major bits that are missing. The desktop, nothing's going to be really ready until you get to maybe phase 4, and even still, you probably wouldn't have much you can actually do at that point. So filing systems, phase 3 largely for these, but some of them would come into phase 4 and phase 5. Graphics stack, I basically said that all the conversion stuff comes later, but the basics and things will probably come around about phase 2, phase 3. Because most of the time you don't really care that much about graphics, because you've got to have the fundamentals there to work first. So there's a lot of things here, and then yeah, hardware stack mostly comes into phase 5 because hardware is pretty unimportant, and that will almost certainly rile anybody up if anybody cared to be talking about that, because hardware isn't important. Hardware is actually a very small section of the actual operating system. The actual software, the rest of it that runs the system is much larger. Driving bits of hardware should be relatively easy once you've got the interfaces there. And that's a problem not for me, because I'm not implementing hardware. All I'm doing is implementing the software interfaces. Somebody else can do hardware because I don't use hardware. Internationalization, I/O system. Again, I/O system has to come early on because you can't do much without readline and things like that. Basically, I'm looking for these light blue ones, which are the functional things. Again, the kernel, you don't need a lot of the kernel to be working, although actually looking at that, I've got kernel input labeled as phase 4. It probably should, although an input, see, that could be input in the sense, I need to define what some of these actually mean, but input, it may actually need to come a bit earlier. All of this is based on the idea that Pyromaniac does a lot of the work for us, so you don't actually need to implement this until late on. So that's the principle there. Localization, there's only a little bit of localization, and they're all horrible modules. International Keyboard, Territory Manager UK, nasty things. Do not like them, do not want. Some more bits for the network. Network mostly is in C, so things should basically come along quite well. And then the printing stack, I don't want to deal with the printing stack, it's horrible. but that's, yeah, that comes in here. A little bit for reporting. There's only two modules that I've listed as reporting. I'm not sure if there's anything else to go in there. Time system, there's not a lot to say about that. Toolbox is all in C, so it's mostly, it should be in phase 6 late on. Don't really care. Yeah, so that's the goals there. And if we go back to the current state of all components, you can see there's links to each of these. So we scroll down to where the debugger was. I can't find the debugger. Where's the debugger gone? Debugger, here we go. Debugger. So here I filled in the details about it. So this is all the features that my automatic tool has discovered about it. It does dynamic code, it's got some services, it does SWISE. And this is the functionality that I've described in it. So we've got a lot of things in here, and we've got a lot that aren't there. So a lot of missing things, not using message trans, we're not doing function names, we're not providing warnings for the instructions. We don't support any of these debugger plus flags, but we do support disassembling ARM, thumb, and ARC64, which are key features. The commands are mostly working. 64-bit one hasn't implemented those. And then in here, we just haven't implemented these 3 SWIs. So those could be done later. I'm not sure what service resets. That's on the original module. I don't know what it does. I'll need to check it. But yeah, that's another one there that needs to be looked at. And that's it. Yeah, so there's a load of things there that can be looked at. I've talked over a lot of things, and oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. I've extracted the wrong archive. That's why it's not finding it, because I've extracted the source archive. Well, oops. The archive I should be extracting is called temp-built, A91. Well, okay, fine. That's not a problem. Git commit -a and do it again. Another 5 minutes wasted because I made a stupid typo. Well, not stupid typo, misunderstood things. Hey ho, that's the way life goes. Unfortunately, this is most of my development life these days, because I do DevOps work as my main job. So a lot of the things I end up doing are push something to servers, do something else, and then realize that it failed like 20 seconds after I pushed it. Or it's still running an hour later, because you can only, to test things in integration, it just takes a long time. So anyway, my reason for showing all of that, though, was that there is a lot of information here about the different modules and different components that we've got. So have a look in Basic. Basic's got a number of things. It can do sound, it can do pointer control, it's got file access, it does graphics output, and I've labeled it with all the keywords that it's got and some of the extra functionality that it has. And I'll go and talk to Steve Revel at some point and find out what he's done, because he hasn't actually said very much. He has talked a little bit about his module and the work he's done, but he hasn't spent a lot on it. That looks odd. I wonder what I did there. That's a bit strange. I'll have to fix that. Yeah, and then there's other modules, so you can. There's a lot of components. Yeah, see, lots and lots of things like find some interesting one. Mind map. There we go. So mind map. There's a lot of features on there, and it all seems to be working. I haven't got the code variables working yet, but that should be easy. I'll look at something else like where's conversions gone? Yeah, conversion calls. So all the conversions are now doing their things. They're all implemented in 64 and 32-bit. So they're all working as well. Again, this is not very interesting to most people, I suspect, but that's where we're up to on this. I have an interesting presentation in November. Yes, November, with Rugal, where I'll be talking about where I'm up to with RISC OS Pyromaniac. And a lot of that presentation will be how the 64-bit stuff works, which is quite simple, and then how it interacts with the rest of the modules that we've got. Just proving that we can actually run RISC OS in 64-bit relatively well. I say relatively well. It's not going to be perfect, but at least it's going to be able to do something. At least that's what I'm hoping anyway. There's a lot of work to still be done, and I'm still expecting that I'll be on phase 1 at that time. Phase 1 is purely intended to provide a encouragement to other people to try and do things. Just going, look, I've done all these things. This is where we're up to. There's these tools about, and we can start using them. Get to it, people. Which I think is not unreasonable. I mean, it was February when RISC OS Open went and said, oh, look, we're doing this moonshot bounties thing. And I basically put myself out there and said, look, I've done all this stuff already. Are you wanting to support it? And they went, I'm not going to pay for it, but we'll work with you. And then I've heard nothing. And nobody else has done anything as far as I can tell. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has actually been doing any work on this, but it certainly seems like I'm the only person who's actually doing anything. Yep, that failed. Because it's not called Debugger FFA. It's just like, right, okay, that's fine. We'll just extract it as Debugger and then call it there. Do it again. But the only other people who actually seem to be doing anything is Simon and Paolo, and neither of them are actually working towards having a 64-bit version of RISC OS. Simon's doing a whole bunch of things and trying to create a different OS. I think he basically just wants to create Plan 9, and Paolo is building his Merlin thing, which is only really tangentially RISC OS, to be perfectly honest, as far as I can see anyway. There's not a lot that it actually does that's useful to anybody, at least at the moment. Maybe I'm wrong. I need to go back and have a look at things, but Simon's been very hand-wavy about things, and both of them are just really trying pie-in-the-sky things rather than actually trying to develop something that people can use, in my opinion. Maybe that will be proven wrong, I don't know, but it's fine. I mean, I'm happy to be proven wrong on these things because it will give us something different. But in the meantime, nobody's actually aiming, other than myself, to do things for the rule bounties. So little bit disappointing, really. But I'll just keep doing things, just keep working at it, plodding away, trying to get my bits working, running things and then waiting 5 minutes before I find that I've made a silly mistake. And my project is the only one with a 64-bit t-shirt. You're right, yes. Maybe that's, I would say that's cart before the horse, except that it works. I mean, come on. Operating system switch to 64-bit. Da-da-da-da. Yes, we're running 64-bit code. Woo! And memory 8000. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? 38. There you go. 64 bits. That's not very useful, but they are parts of the code. So what's the thing called? Library 64.bbc basic. I'm not allowed to call it that. I've just remembered. I need to change the name on it. And this is R.T. Russell's basic, and he's made it very clear that we shouldn't be calling it BBC Basic when it's a different port. It's not released through him. So I'm going to have to change that. But it works. I mean, print hello world time. It will very quickly hit the bounds of which things that don't work. Ooh, that did work. Ooh, that's cool. Sometimes I'm surprised that works. I hacked that build together very, very quickly. I'm not convinced it's all that good. But it does, as I say, work. So, yeah, something you can do. Excuse me. But yeah, 64-bit version of RISC OS. Memory I 8000. So this is actually, yeah, so there's the entry sequence for 32-bit. And if you're running in 64-bit, it enters there and it starts executing all the code for the random place in the middle of the code. There you go. So that handles brackets and moves on to the next instruction, expression parser, and then general traps for escape and stuff. Honestly, it's quite surprisingly impressive that any of this works, because I honestly never expected to get to the point where I'd be able to run RISC OS, or that I'd run RISC OS on a different architecture, and have a version of BASIC running. I mean, come on, that's cool. As Alan said, it is pretty awesome. This has failed again. It's failed again. Cannot start debugger. Let's try that. It's right there. Did that not extract it? Did that just list it? Oh. Hi Dave, we're on iteration number something like 20 million of trying to build and run the tests on CI at the moment. And anybody else that has joined, yes, we're at the point of actually running tests, and I'm repeatedly finding that I've made mistakes, or that things are not mistakes now, that it's not working the way I expected. And so got the wrong file and then it didn't build. So if we spin to the top and then we start the next one, there's another build running. But each one of these builds takes 4 and a bit minutes, and I have to sit here and I've basically just been talking over the top of it and hoping that people are vaguely interested by my tales of woe and my own problems. And I've run out of steam now. What was I saying? So what did I talk about? I talked about the random complaints about nobody else working on 64-bit stuff. Having said that, you see, I also wanted to do some other things, like getting Dave's Great Escape. He says you've as you're here, you see, you've got a build of Great Escape that that has just full screen and no desktop in it. And I should be able to build that in 64-bit and run it, and then we'd have another game. I mean, at the moment we've got Chucky Egg. Is Chucky Egg the only game I've built? I think it's the only game I've built. Yeah, Chucky Egg is built, so that's the only thing. But if I could get Great Escape working, that'd be quite cute. I haven't really got much in there being many olden days. There's always tales of woe. I've just run out of. I've run out of oomph. Run out of steam. Yeah. I can help with steam though. I've got little twirl bites. have 2 12 and that will fill me. So Dave says, I've got full screen regular TV, but I'm able to rig it to bypass the desktop loop and jump right to that. That sounds like exactly what I want to do, because I suspect that's probably quite easy. And Alan says, Tales of Woe is the sequel to Gerph Rambles. Maybe I should do that. No, that took me no, it took me a year. It took me about a year and a bit to actually write Rambles. And then I spent another 6 months or so rereading them and editing them to make them useful. I mean, I really enjoyed doing the Rambles, but they were kind of cathartic, but not as much as you might like. I mean, given that I'm still here ranting about the same things. Oh, come on. It's just building a little bit more. Floating point bits. Stupid line number errors. Warnings. What about Hexen? Hexen, yes, I could do that. The biggest issue with Hexen is the fact that it's got a good chunk of the inner rendering loop all in assembler. Although it probably would be more efficient to do some of them in ARC64. I wonder how easy that would be. It would be really cool though, wouldn't it, to have Hexen running on an operating system that nobody's actually like otherwise doing any work on. That would be kind of cool. Oh, come on! No rule to make target ... Test code make files. So what do we do? So we rely on the module. The module is there. It'll copy it. Oh, all right. Well, I put it in the wrong place. Then that's all it is. There's nothing else wrong. It's fine. So all I need to do is just change this so that it does Mukta RM32 and moves it to RM32 debugger. Put it in the module directory so we can use it, and then it should work. Right. So, yeah, there we go. Move to the top, and then actions. So Alan says, I've never heard any of the stories about when the RISC OS Limited developers all moved into a house to work on the release of RISC OS 4. At least that's how I remember it from Acorn User. Yeah, we did. Was not the best time. It was very, very stressful. We were winging it on a lot of things we were doing. We got very stressed. We had a lot of fallings out, and things did not go well. The release got out. That was fine, but it was not a good time. And at the end of the day, we did manage to do some really good things, but we didn't. Eligible bachelors. That's how we were described in the Acorn User thing. I think you've got the magazine with you, I think, Talia. I forgot what I was saying now. And then Dave arrived and spent ages working on the PRMs to get it ready for release, which I know that Dave hated. And I spent a little time doing some cleanup to put it onto the site. And then I screwed that up myself. The PRMs were one of the better things that we produced, with the exception of my screw-ups for the publication. And it's still one of the things that is, I keep referencing because the reference manuals are the best. for getting information about things. At the end of the day, it was absolutely necessary that we started getting that information out there, because otherwise, so the reference manuals at the time, I believe the physical copies were being sold for about 99 quid for the 4 volumes, and I think the volume 5 was another 25 quid. So that was quite a lot, if I remember rightly. I mean, it might be that they're still being sold for that. I'm sure CGE is probably selling them for full whack. But the point was that it became you could spend a small amount on getting the CD, or you got it for free, I think, if you're a developer. And that meant that you could then not have to be rifling through the pages of those books, although the books were really cool. Dave says he's a student grant on the C++ and the PRMs. Yeah, I spent a chunk of mine on getting my RISC PC. I think I spent about 400 quid on that. And then I bought the PRMs afterwards. I think Chris Johns gave me his copy of the RISC OS 2 / RISC OS 3 manuals. He had a set of photocopies, 2 pages to a side. It was really fun. It had lots of notes on it from people inside Acorn of the things that need to be improved. I think I seem to remember that is it Sound Channels or Sound DMA had a comment in it or something along the lines of we should write this or get some documentation or something, because it was absolutely nothing in there. And the documentation that finally came out in the PRMs was not much better. But yeah, that was my go-to for a long time. And I never had a PRM 5A back in the day. And all of the things that I learned about 5A, so 5A documented RISC OS 3.5, 3.6. Dave Thomas sent me I hate you, it's failed again. Oh, the tool's not available. Why did the tool not... I didn't copy it. I didn't copy the tool. I'm just going to sit here and cry now. Into test code. There we go. But on the other hand, you see, it is actually running things. It's just not working. Because yes, back in the day, we're definitely telling tales of back in the day. I had an A5000, and obviously it was not able to do some of the things that other systems could do. So I had to implement different interfaces from RISC OS 3.5 and 3.6. I had a memory manager that I wrote that simulated the effect of dynamic areas. It was actually quite impressive, but it was very impressive that it worked. The fact that it didn't crash quite so much is surprising. But the whole reason for that was that I could view JPEGs because it needed dynamic areas. It was very, very surprising and disappointing about 2-3 years later. Whilst chatting to Niall Douglas, he said, "Oh yeah, I had the sprite extend that did JPEGs. You implemented a dynamic area handler. I just patched the code out to use module area." And I went, "Oh yeah, I could have done that, couldn't I? That would have been a lot easier." And I felt a bit dim. On the other hand, I had a whole memory manager that emulated a good chunk of the nice features from 3.5, even though it wasn't very efficient running that in a system that had 32K pages and only 4 megabytes of memory. I was saying that 4 megabytes and just feeling, do I mean 4 megabytes? I do, don't I? That's all we had on that machine. Wow. These days I can produce a 4 megabyte file without even thinking. I have a feeling that my C library is generating an ELF file that's bigger than that because it's got all linkage stuff in it. Yeah, when I was a lad, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. Back in the good old days when we had to do everything ourselves. I saw somebody, there's a YouTube thing that popped up on my feed, video of somebody going, I wanted to try and work to write a function in assembler that did centigrade to Fahrenheit, but it has to do a division, and ARM doesn't have a division instruction. And I was like, yeah, and that's what you get, mate. I guess I'm just not jaded. I don't know what the phrase is. Old, I think, is probably the phrase, actually, come to think of it. Right. I am so very hopeful. Kids these days, yes. I had to stop it because I was just like so very, yeah. What was it like when you got your hands on the RISC OS source code? Was it supplied on CD, hard disk, and any instructions to use it or anything useful? So, yeah, the source code came on CD, and I think there's a picture in Acorn User of us holding the CD in Acorn. So we turned up at Acorn at about, I think it was about 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At the Pace office. No, it would have been Acorn offices, Element 14 offices, sorry, Newmarket Road. And we were sitting in the, they've got a little demo room, or they had a little demo room that had a whole bunch of A7000s, set-top boxes, bunch of other things that sort of demonstrated various things. And so we were sat down there because we couldn't do anything else. We'd already previously had a meeting with them where I think Dave Walker had spoken to me, because I was going to be the build master for things, about how things worked and what we needed to do to build the things, what was going to be delivered to us. So I had a good idea about that. And yeah, I spent some time with them, basically just whiteboarding what was done and how things worked. And then we sat there, and basically we were waiting for different solicitors to sign off on wording and confirm that money had been transferred before they would give us anything. And so about 7 o'clock, we finally got the CD. So it's getting dark outside, very dark outside. We got the CD. Took some photos. We said our goodbyes, and then we got into a car. Myself, Andrew, and Matthew, and drove back from Cambridge to Stratford-upon-Avon. And it was dark, and it was very snowy. There was so little visibility. There was just snow streaming at the car. And I can't remember who was driving, whether it was Matthew or Andrew. It wasn't me. And it was a little bit, we were a little bit elated from the fact that we'd got the source code and everything. And the first thing that we did was, I think I got the CD onto my machine and copied everything as much as I could off it. So there's all the source code and bits, and then tried to run a build in the way that there's some small instructions on there of what we could do. And then I give it to one of the others, and they went and did stuff, and then tried to make stuff work. I think I managed to get BASIC to build that evening, and then went to bed, and then we took it to work in the morning. and copy it onto our server, which was ready for things. And I checked into CVS so we could start using it. So all in CVS on our Linux server running, Buttercup running, all the services there, and then we could all check it out and start looking at it and examining our particular areas. So my areas were the operating system, except the kernel and the WIMP, basically. And I just started getting things working and trying to work out how to use it and what we could do. Build a ROM was our first goal. So we got a ROM out of it and then managed to soft load it, and we had something working. And then we could start looking at actual code and the like and seeing what we could do. And I have no idea how long that took. I suspect it took a few days, a week or so for us to get to that point. One of the early things that Matthew was doing was looking at how the kernel was working, what the WIMP did, what parts of the hardware were actually provided and working, and how much of Phoebe stuff we needed to disable. Oh, sorry, this is running. Where are we up to? Oh, it's running tests. It is running tests. Invalid option A. Oh, what's that mean? It's running tests and telling me that it's failing everything. Invalid option A. I wonder if that means that I'm using the wrong version of the build client. This is version 5. Probably, oops, no, copy. Probably means I should be using another release. Release 7. Maybe that's what I should be doing. 7. Yeah, let's run that. There we go. That's pushed up there. So Dave says this is only a drop of Ursula, wasn't it? We didn't get to see 3.7 until later when I was about. That's right. Yeah. So we got the drop of Ursula was a without any of the history. So we only got a dump of it, if I remember rightly, as it was. So we had no real knowledge of what had gone on prior to that. And 3.7 and the later pay stuff didn't come until later. And because it was Ursula, we got to see what it was that was actually being talked about. So I'm not sure if people... Oh, I don't know if I have a copy of it. But there were screenshots that have been put out, PR screenshots of the desktop running and having like new icons for things. So there's new icons for paint, draw, edit, all of the things on the icon bar, a number of the file types and the like. And there was a few other applications that were bandied about as things. I think there was a sound sampler thing, which basically were complete lies. That's the wrong one. I don't want that. I want this. There was nothing of those in the source drop we got. And seeing the source drop that Pace actually had, they didn't exist. They just there was some of the sound stuff there, but it was nowhere near like desktop front end. If it ever had existed, it was only on certain people's disks, which meant that we were just not put out, but there was a bunch of things that were rather not as we expected. CDFS was there before you joined, Dave, and I spent 2-3 weeks trying to get CDFS to the point, CDFS 3 this is, to the point where it was working. And it's not just CDFS 3, but the drivers and the stack, because there was a whole new implementation, and none of it worked with old hardware. So the idea was to get a stub driver to sit between the two. I couldn't even get anything that they delivered working. Admittedly, I was not. This was one of the first times I'd seen partial delivery or something, and it was quite good code, but it was not ready. It was just not ready for production. And so after about 3 weeks, we had a quick chat, Matthew and I, and we just went, no, abandon that. We're not getting anywhere. Let's instead go with the old CDFS, CDFS 2, and we'll extend it. So I extended it with some extra bits. So I added in support for Joliet and Rockridge formats, and some improved handling of multiple sessions. I can't remember. It's too long ago, and I can't remember the terms from the CD and ISO access. But you did. I added some support in for that, and that was all pretty nasty. The whole of CDFS is in assembler, and not particularly structured assembler. It did really needed you to know what was going on throughout the system. And there was a lot of, right, yeah, that's called from a different place. And it was assuming things on the stack above where it was. And, horrible. That is one part of it that was absolutely should have been replaced with CDFS 3. But you'll notice, of course, that RISC OS 5 doesn't use CDFS 3 either. So that decision was not one that was unreasonable, I feel. Look, we're actually running tests. We're running tests. How long's that taken? About an hour and a half. Oh, gosh. I am really pleased that we are running tests, though. We actually have tests running. This is good. This means that the work today has been worthwhile. And if these all pass, which they ought to, I hope, I'm going to say that this is on hold, done, finished. Not going to do the next session I do with live coding will not be on this module. I will do something different. I don't know what yet, but I'll do something different. As I was showing people earlier, there is a lot to be done in take me home, please. Home. The phase 1 work. There's a lot of modules still to do here. So I may pick up one of these, or I may pick one of the others that's just like an easy one that just needs to be dumped into the system. And then I can at least feel that I've achieved something. This is, of course, episode 19 now. 19 of the live coding. So it will be nice to move on to a different project. This was only meant to be a short thing. And I do feel like I've just spoken and chatted for about an hour and a half, for which I'm very, very sorry. I hope you can forgive me. But in the meantime, we are looking at some good output. No, lots of OKs here. Lots of passes. Register relative input. Yeah. Lots of things actually working. Yeah. I mean, almost all of this time is getting from the file that we have produced to passing it to this code. That's just been tedious. Oh no, we got some differences. That's because I did a release. I made changes to DARM and then I didn't release them, did I? Oh, grr. Right, okay, let's just pop over to DOM. To DOM, please. Yep, there we are. Status, git tag. Yes, so I just need to tag this with a new version, I think. So if we do a log, I can see this is where we are master. This is the write back support and things. Where's the tag? There's the tag there. So yeah. All right, so that's not too bad. Git tag v 0.0. Yeah, I need to update the version. I'll vmanage version. Inc version number, and then commit version num. Yeah, there's the on here. This is the one of the fixes that we had, was getting the write back sorted on there. Update the version number to 0.08 for release. This release includes fixes for the mobs. Instructions and thumb write back. Push that. Tag with v0.08. Push. Hang on. 0.08. Log 0.7. Export. That is literally all we've done. Okay. And not swamping the machines. So we've got 4 failures, all of which are related to the changes for that. So we can have a look at DOM now. Is this DOM? This is DOM. So it's doing its build. There. It takes about 4 minutes to build this as well. Ugh. Yep, so git push tag origin 0.08. Oh no, that tag you just do push that. There we go. That's the build being pushed, and then we can prepare the release for that. So how do releases look? Yeah, that's what we will do. So we don't really have much to say on this. So let's create a v0.08 release of the DOM library built for 32-bit. Changes since v0.07. Write back on thumb push. Okay. STM LDM instructions are now shown. And what was the other thing I've already forgotten? Yes, thumb mnemonics now include the S. Backticks on that so it colours nice, so it shows us nicely. S indication for the high speed set. looks good. So back over here, wait for it to finish. This one's running and then this one will run. So we've got a new joiner who's just come in at the very end of this session. So this is a disassembler that disassembles ARM code. It is the very, very tail end of the project. And if I can get this finished in the next 10-15 minutes, I will be moving on to something else next week. I use two different libraries. I use the DARM library here, which is somebody else's, a third-party library that I've just pulled in, and I use this library here, which is called Armadillo, which is another third-party library. Pull both of those ARM libraries in, and then use those to disassemble source code, and that's been integrated into a separate library here called RISC OS, this program called RISC OS Debugger in C, and it builds it and then runs some tests. Unfortunately, tests are failing because I failed to release the DARM library, which is what I'm in the process of doing here. I'm just waiting for it to finish running its tests. Fingers crossed it's doing stuff, it's building, and then it has to do it all again. I think what I'm going to do, as we are over time now, I don't want to be keeping everybody too long, but I'm going to go and get this bit done. I will stay online and do it, but you will be able to see this in on the RISC OS Open forums once I'm happy with it. I'm pretty pleased with the module as it goes. This is the actual release. It's doing the tagged version. So the distinction here is that was the push to master. This is the push to the tagged branch. And when it does a tagged branch, it does a build, and then it'll do a release and push it to the release section. And then we can go and test that. It'll take another 4 or 5 minutes for it to do the build, because slow builds. And then I'll be able to go and build it into the debugger, which will take another 4 or 5 minutes as well. I wish it would build faster. I will get that sorted today. Ooh, it's raining outside. Ooh, it's been raining quite a bit outside. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And the later work that I do today will probably get that line number fix as well, so the compiler doesn't report stupid line numbers. So, as this is going to take a few minutes, and I've been talking for a while, I may as well go over what we've actually achieved here. So, what have we achieved? What have we actually done? Was it worthwhile? Was there any real point to it? I don't know where I'm going. I want to go to the RISC OS Open. I don't know where I'm going. Forums, announcements, live coding. So, this is what we've got so far. Let's copy all that. Actually, oh, I'm not logged in. Let me just do it down here. Sorry, I don't share my my terminal when it's got logs, my stuff logged in. Just general safety. I don't end up sharing something that I shouldn't have done, or something that's private or whatever. So anyway, I've copied the edited version of that, so I can actually go over here. If we have a look here, this is over the course of the last 19 sessions, I have produced a debugger module which supports many of the things that we expect on RISC OS. We support the module is built and released automatically through CI. There it is. Project board shows what needs to be done. The module can be built and runs on 32-bit and 64-bit RISC OS. The module is tested with test code derived from the RISC OS Pyromaniac test code set suites. There we go. Automatically within CI. Module has been demonstrated, run on RISC OS in RPC-MU with ZAP and what? And works quite well. Maria asks, what is RISC OS? RISC OS is the operating system that I am using for the target for this. RISC OS is an ARM operating system. It is the original ARM operating system, produced back in the very early 90s. It's the operating system that was used essentially to prove that ARM was a viable chip, because Acorn needed a chip to use for their new computers. This is long before ARM, the company, existed. Eventually, it was spun out, and ARM became a real big thing, and RISC OS faded away into obscurity. But that's the thing I do, enthusiast system, basically. Module can be obtained from the RISC OS Debugger GitHub site. There you go. Right, so with that in mind, where were we? We were updating this. It built and completed building and released as well, which is good. So with that in mind, we should now be able, no, go to here, sorry. Go to here and then go to releases. And we can see the new release here. This is the draft release for it. My notes on the release are here. Copy, paste. Done. Okay, that can now be published as the latest release. DARM 0.08. So now we go over to the debugger and we look for, is it the CI here? Yeah, so we change this to getting version 0.08 of DARM. On the thumb stacking instructions, and we push that, and that will then go into this workflow here. And if we are very, very lucky, I hope we're lucky, in about 8 minutes, 8 minutes, this is so slow, we will get the test completed and we'll be able to see that it's actually working. Oh gosh. And this hasn't been tedious in the slightest. So let me go back to my description. This is going to be my announcement. I'm going to give to people. Right. You look super tired. I am quite tired now. Unfortunately, I've basically been talking solidly for about 3.5 hours now, as I've been doing this. So I'm getting a bit tired. Over the course of this particular series of live coding, this is session 19. Each one of these sessions has been 3 hours once a week. So it's been quite a while I've been doing this. That's a lot of work. On the other hand, it's probably not unreasonable. So over the course of the last 19, I've already said that. I said exactly those words up here. The purpose of the live coding sessions has been initially, was initially so that I could get some practice at doing coding in a different environment and demonstrating how certain things, some techniques and skills can be used. I was hoping that it would be an encouragement to others that doing complicated things which seem complicated are largely just a set of small things, small steps to address a problem. The debugger module was intended to be a simple example of how this could work. Can be done. Something important, something useful to RISC OS can be done. It wasn't quite so simple. Let's put a break in there. It wasn't quite so simple. There's been work in Shell, in Python, in Perl, and assembler, and converting C99 to C89. It wasn't obvious, and working with someone else's somebody correct me on that. I can't remember how you meant to write that. Somebody else's code, which I didn't understand at first. I hope that has given people some encouragement to try doing things they wouldn't have. I hope that it has also shown that mistakes are many and plentiful. And we roll with them. Still running. Still going. Where are we up to? Oh, it's running the tests. It's running the tests. Oh. Maybe that wasn't the most important part of the project. Change that. It's been very exciting. I've laughed a lot. And along the way, there's been a number of people coming into the chat and watching the sessions without knowing anything about RISC OS. That was not how you spell knowing. People who asked questions, even if they're not on the topic of the debugger, and have been very friendly. So Peter Richards just said, I'm hoping to do some RISC OS development. These videos look like they should be very useful too. Thanks. Cool. I mean, if they are, that's great. If they're not, then, well, that's life. Oh, I've got a test failure. I've got a test failure. No. What's failed? What's wrong? Ooh, that's actually wrong. That is actually the wrong output. Why has that come out wrongly? Why did I not notice that before? Oh, balls. Right. I am still going to call this a day on this and make this the last session because I do not wish to do some more next week. I want to do something else. But I will fix this up in my own time and work out what's gone wrong. And then we can get it out and released. I honestly hadn't seen that before. I'm sure that wasn't. Come on. This is debugger. C. There should be one that's just D there. Come on. That's probably been there all the time and I've not noticed. No. Status registered here. Does that mean that the new release has broken it? Oh no! Because my code's working properly, but this one's not. Well, that's useful because it means that the CI has identified a problem that is not on my machine. Excellent! This is useful. And yeah, maybe I should also add that as well to the notes here. Oh no, I won't write that. I'm just going to leave it at that, and then I'll post that onto the session, onto the RISC OS Open things. Right, we failed. We failed one test, but it's not a bad thing. I will go and fix that and do a new re-release of it, but I'm going to call it a day there. That is the end for this. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm just needing to have a break and I really want to do something different. If anybody from the RISC OS side wants to suggest something out of either the list of 64-bit components or something else that they might be interested in, I may have a consideration on it. But I do want it to be something that's actually progressing RISC OS itself. So I will see where we get to with that. Okay. Thank you very much. Today we've basically done a lot of things that are related to finishing off the module, and although it's failed on the final test, come on. So frustrating. Otherwise, it's been pretty good. We have not had too much of a problem. It's actually possible that this is a bug in the compiler, so I may have to look into that. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, it will be a live coding on a different topic, unless I get fed up and we come back to this and do it all over again. Yeah, I'm really happy, really quite happy. See you all later. Thanks very much.